I'm talking to Adi Kishore. He's a senior analyst at Heavy Reading, specialising in digital media and broadband. Adi, how do carriers manage increases in traffic which aren't being matched by increases in revenue?
It's a good question. I mean, I don't know that anybody really has an answer. I think it's going to be sort of an ongoing battle because you've got a sort of dynamic where clearly the internet is becoming even more ubiquitous than it already is. More and more people are using it for more and more functions. On the enterprise side, there's a shift towards cloud computing and certainly a trend towards looking at hosted kind of services, applications, content, which is only going to make the internet more important and the traffic on it that much more important. On the other hand, from a consumer or an entertainment standpoint, video is really starting to fill up the pipe. There's a lot of internet video that's being consumed by households around the world. So traffic growth is pretty much a reality. I think everybody sort of accepts that it's going to keep growing. On the other hand, service providers are compensated by a flat monthly fee, which has no connection with the amount of traffic that's on their network. So it's a difficult balance for them if you're going to keep investing in network capacity and keep expanding network capacity, but there's no revenue that results from that expansion, then that just becomes financially unviable. So it's just going to be, for the foreseeable future, a sort of battle where they constantly keep trying to control the flood of traffic and look for ways to monetize that.
Apart from caching, what other technologies can be used to manage traffic?
Well, transparent caching is probably the most popular sort of approach at the moment, just because it's relatively uncontroversial from a net neutrality standpoint. The operators are simply putting a cache on their network, they're storing the stream as it comes through and then delivering it from the edge when requested. They're not manipulating or prioritizing or deprioritizing content in any way. So that's very popular at the moment. I mean, in addition to that, there's DPI and policy. These tools allow service providers to look at the traffic on their network in a very granular, at a very granular level, and then control it, either shape it, prioritize it, or deprioritize it, or in extreme cases, block it, so that network traffic is being relieved. On the wireless side, we're seeing things like video optimization or content optimization, where the content, the media that is being delivered over the wireless network to a smartphone, for example, would be manipulated to kind of minimize the bandwidth that it takes without, in ideal circumstances, affecting the quality. So that's another way to kind of cut down on the volume of traffic.
What factors influence the customer's perception of quality in video delivery?
Well, consumers want an uninterrupted experience for video viewing. So, number one problem, I think, is any kind of delays or stops in the video. So buffering, long buffering times can be, a significant sort of irritant for consumers who want to view that video. Any kind of pauses in order to rebuffer, that can be a huge issue. Obviously, resolution is a huge problem. You should be, as a viewer of video, you should be able to enjoy a high quality experience. So the quality of the video, the resolution of the video has to be high. Pixelization or any kind of breaking up of the video stream, any data that's lost from the video image is a huge problem as well.
If two-way video calling really takes off, will carriers need to change over equipment that they have in place, which is predominantly for one-way streaming?
Well, we'll have to see how sort of video communication, particularly two-way video calling or video conferencing, does. It's a relatively young space, but certainly there seems to be a little more momentum there than there has been in the past. I think it poses slightly different sort of challenges. I think in terms of sort of raw bandwidth, you don't have some of the challenges that you do have with full motion video, particularly professionally produced video. In two-way calling, you're basically looking at each other's faces. And so the amount of video information that has to be conveyed is fairly limited. It's the upstream path that becomes an issue. If volume grows beyond some sort of critical mass, then managing the upstream path will be a challenge. And network operators will have to figure out ways to do that. Obviously, it's also a live application, so something like caching doesn't really help in any substantial way. So they will have to kind of relook at some of the network architectures.
Apart from video, do you see any other applications or content types driving traffic growth?
Video seems to be far and away the major driver of network traffic. In fact, we've seen a shift even in terms of the kind of video. We've seen a shift from P2P video to HTTP video. So consumers are it's HTTP video that's really the key sort of driver for network traffic growth now and is projected for the future. It may not be sort of merely in terms of raw traffic, but we're seeing social networking because of the way social network pages are structured. There's a lot of interactivity, a lot of DNS requests, a lot of information that has to be pulled together onto one composite page, and that creates a whole set of other problems for network operators as well.
Adi, thank you very much for talking to us today.
Thank you.